Joey insisted that we play a song first by someone very important, Kings of Talk.
Yes, and I'm going to play that now. World premiere. Here we go.
Okay. Huh? Chico. Okay. This is my mom. Okay. This is my mom, babe. Huh? Chico. Okay. This is my mom, babe. This is my mom, babe. Captain Crunch.
Is you
Mom, babe. Crunch.
All right, you are live with transparency and merit. All right, I'm blown away that you let that go, and I don't know. This is just some relaxing stuff after all that noise. I don't know what you had in mind. I know you wanted to keep it short and kind of get into it. What's on your mind today, Mr. Brian?
Well, what's on my mind today is Winona Judd. No, I mean, what's her name? Is it? God, now my mind is Naomi.
The one that just died, right? What's her name?
Is it Naomi Judd that just passed away?
I
And
could check on that.
check on her real quick. I think it was Naomi Judd. But
anyways, yeah. So she died.
well, it just goes to show you that even when you're wealthy and you have all the money, at your disposal.
It wasn't Naomi.
Yeah, it didn't. I mean, and there are wealthy people who get depressed and end up ending their own life, and it's kind of sad how the internet, and I could be wrong on this, but it's kind of sad how the internet, which is supposed to be, this age of information that we are to be living in, and where human beings can talk to each other and have that talk spread out to the rest of the world. It's only a select few that are allowed to have the mass ear, and that when YouTube was first created, it was like YouTube. It was for the normal average man or woman. And people with different perspectives that weren't with the corporations or with the government. And maybe they had solutions and maybe they didn't. Maybe they were crackpot ideas. But the fact of the matter is, it seems like we're no longer the age of information. In the age of, maybe I would say the age of information and enlightenment, we're the age of perhaps censorship and punishment for wrong think. And I don't think that kind of thing brings up enlightenment. And I don't think that kind of thing brings out really solutions or workable solutions for this debilitating disease and other debilitating diseases that are out there. And there's a lot of new information that seems to work. Like, I am type 2 diabetic, and fasting has worked amazingly. And it's just kind of sad that so much of dialogue is being curtailed, and it's not what it was originally. Like, it seems like it wasn't what the internet was supposed to be. And yeah, the age of information is no longer. I don't know if you have a comment on that or if I made any form of sense whatsoever, but please tell me, Joe, if
I see. I'm not sure what you were trying to say about fasting. Now, are you pro fasting, or are you saying it worked for you?
It worked for me. I'm pro fasting for me, and I think it works for a lot of people with diabetes. But my own doctor doesn't even the doctor that I see does not recommend it. And she's also recommending that I get I get a fourth booster shot.
Uh,
I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just saying,
Doctors are held to a narrative. That's why I say a lot of things that I say um, get uh, get they haven't gotten me canceled, but they've certainly had me censored many times. Now it's staggering because I really don't do that many shows to feel that I've merited that much sort of censorship. But the problem that I face, it truly is with the so-called intellects or high-level employees or high-level professionals like a doctor. And I'm sorry, but there is no doctor that knows my body better than me. There's none. Now you could take a picture, but there's been, x-rays have been around. I heard that x-rays originally, they've been around so long, they used to almost be like pay booths. You could walk up if you were injured and you could put some change in this machine and it would take a picture of your bone, of your inside, and you could get an x-ray just like that right on the street. I never heard that before. About, I think last week someone mentioned it and I was like, holy moly, that's an interesting thing. Cause now, everyone's so guarded. They don't want to get, irradiated. And, it always mystifies me that you can go in and get an x-ray and all you have to do is put on this magical lead vest and you're somehow protected from radiation. It's very interesting. And it's usually, what my point was that the problem I have with these high level professionals, it's an ego job. So, the egos, won't allow for a particular point of view to enter, and they will hold their professional merits and as proof or as some sort of evidence for having more knowledge about something, or having more credibility, I should say, about something, not necessarily knowledge. And it's been biting. It's really been biting at me for a long time. That this is truly the problem we face. That we have doctors that are held to a narrative that many people have a lot of difficulty with, to say the least. Who knows? Who knows? Don't forget that the courthouse is all closed for the first time once the thing hit, the beer bug or whatever. And I can't imagine the backlog of legal fees or legal cases that have yet to even been read. It's just wild to think about, really. Sorry if that didn't make any sense. I'll try it again.
well, yeah, I mean, it did, and again, it's between the corporate world and the government, and I think large corporations and the government seem to be working hand in hand together, and maybe they always have.
That's
And
interesting thought, but they certainly do now. And it's already been proven. I think it's BlackRock and what's the other? It's a huge mutual fund, or basically the two umbrellas that have. It's basically narrowed down to these two companies, and underneath them is every other big business you can think of. And on one side's Pepsi and one side's Coke, for example. And what's also interesting is that there is a board of directors, and there are people from each of these two umbrellas that are on this board of directors. So you kind of have a superpower, a government, and it's there, it's in place. And I think to deny that is maybe putting your head in the sand, really. If you're still thinking that anything about this show that's going on around us is if you think these people are the ones making the calls, I'm just saying you're off by a mile. Not you personally, but just in general. That's just my attitude, and it's controversial.
Here's the way I see it. You know what? Most of us are just trying to get through life, and with regards to nature, whether it be dealing with the human nature, dealing with the nature of mental illness, some of the things we don't know and how to handle it. It's good to find people to talk to and kind of realize that most of us we're struggling as human beings, and struggle is unavoidable and pain is unavoidable. Even if you come from financial wealth, cancer, doesn't know wealth. I think perhaps depression and mental illness doesn't know poverty or wealth. Although I think you're better treated if you're wealthier and you have more things at your disposal. But sometimes that's not even enough. As we see with Naomi Judd, she had every form of all kinds of resources at her disposal, but that was not enough to overcome her mental illness, her depression. That's
yeah. And all I can say is, again, this heads towards the narrative that I'm holding up in quotes. The narrative that the medical field, especially, and in education and whatever sector you want to go to, they're held to a narrative, and damned are those who question it. And what's at the top of Naomi Judd's resume? Actress.
She was a singer, country singer.
She's an entertainer. Entertain. She was there to capture your mind. And I'm not a big I don't want to get on a soapbox here because my views, but I don't get my medical advice from the newspaper. I don't think it's sad. I don't think it's tragic because in my mind, I just don't know. I don't know that person. And but that's not to say in real life, I have had some tragedy recently. Someone I knew disappeared, and she wound up dead in Detroit, and it was really sad. And she had a 19-year-old boy who I know, and so yeah, there is we are in a time right now, I think, of suffering, no doubt. Right on, Nemo. Good comment.
Nemo said, "Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional." I'm going to have to dwell on that and think on that. Sometimes, though, pain is so deep that suffering is not necessarily optional. I don't know. I don't. Sometimes I think that
Jehovah's Witness would agree with that. Mind over matter.
that's, that is a question that we can table for another time? I mean, I think I would like to talk about that because I have been fasting and I've been trying tools to help me fast, um, to help with pain. I mean, I suffer with pain being diabetic, and I think I have, what is it called, neuropathy, or is it neuropathy? And I certainly suffer.
I just got something you should try. It's an incredibly powerful agent. It's called DMSO, and not a lot of people know about it. But for aches, for pains, now if you're talking about something that's chronic, that's different, probably a different story. But if you're talking about aches and pains, this DMSO is so amazing and so penetrating. It's quite a thing. I can't believe not many people have even heard of it. But I'd like to do a show about it at some point. Give a review of this particular brand I recently received.
You know, Joe, I wonder if there's a drug out there that feels as good as a really good, vigorous workout where you work up a sweat and take a shower. I've never felt better than anything prescribed to me. You know, when I played a full court game of basketball and I take a shower, I feel like I'm like king of the world, or I have a good run. You know, or when I did run and I had a good run, I absolutely felt like I was king of the world. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there is something to be said for vigorous working out. I think there's something to be said for moderate eating habits. Uh, I think moderation tends to lead to a happier life, and that's what I'm striving for now. I mean, I am going to try to reverse my type 2 diabetes and deal with other issues I've been dealing with. I mean, like I have other issues that are more on a private spectrum, but I'm going to strive to deal with that as well. Um, I think, again, I'd like to expand this transparency and merit, dealing with mental health and dealing with physical health too. And right now, it seems like so many things are, government controlled and corporation controlled. Large corporations and large government seem to be controlling or wanting to control large amounts of information. And when it deals with your physical and mental health, I don't know if that's really a good thing. And I think human beings can decipher information better. And I think it is proven that it's better than government or large corporations, because large corporations have an agenda, and so does government. Particularly right now, we see that it's been politicized. Joe, I think that's all I'm going to add. Is there anything to add before I end this show?
Yeah, let's just read this comment because I've written an article for a published article for a magazine on this topic. But Big Pharma and Nemo says this: Big Pharma and the drug cartels want to keep people hooked on pain pills and depression pills, and why not throw in diabetes pills as well? Pure evil. I added that. But we need to legalize all drugs immediately. It's been completely favorable. I think it's Argentina or what country was it that did it? That I've heard just tremendous stories coming out of there. Not to sound like Trump. Tremendous. It's just tremendous. But I've heard really good things. I haven't heard a damn thing about Oregon, but I know they legalized a whole bunch of narcotics. I think we're going to see a tidal wave. California has been talking about legalizing psilocybin, which I personally think is the natural antidepressant. It's when used properly, it is there is absolutely nothing better for depression. And I'm talking long term, uh, uh, allopathic or traditional medicine routes are they're salespeople, and a lot of the dialogue, the narrative that you hear from the doctors, at least part of it is a commercial. It's just worked right into their plan, and so yeah, I think you're right on again, Nemo.
Not only that, the legalization of drugs, but maybe even almost the doing away of the FDA. And we need to look at, like, how things have been happening, and just, I never thought that, like how much of our freedom of speech and our freedom of thought would be attacked, but it seems to be under attack. It seems like a coordinated effort. And you know what? I mean, I'm hoping for an internet that is about freedom of expression and people talking to one another, and not talking at one another, but to each other and with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, is there anything else to add, Joey?
I think we are good.
All right, folks. Just remember to strive to be calm, cool, and collected. Keep your anger and your sadness and other emotions, try to keep them in check to the best of your ability. And it is a struggle out there. And like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thank you, those very few people that are listening. Thank you for listening.